Talk Shoe. Recorded live.
Well, we're back again to Politics and Preppers, the Saturday night show. And for those of you that might just be hearing about the show, if you're getting it through iTunes or some other spot, we're over at TalkShoe.com, and the show is called Politics and Preppers, and the show ID is 120315. That's where you can find us, and if you want to join in the call sometime, come on by and we'll see if we can get you in. At the first few shows, I didn't want to let people in too much. I wanted to just kind of get the feel of things again, get a little bit more relaxed. I'm not exactly a high dollar professional showman, but I wanted to do something, so this is where I went to. So now the other night last night, Mike and I, and if y'all listen to some of the past shows, I've been talking about doing some shows during the weekday. So, but they're private shows. I don't invite anybody in except for the people I know, and down the road I might invite some more people to jump in there because we can't really schedule during the week. So once we haven't downloaded it yet to TalkShoe on the regular show, but it will be soon, and you'll be able to get to that if you subscribe. Easiest way, I think, for most people to subscribe to the show and be able to download it and listen to it whenever they want on their smartphone or iPod or iPad or whatever they might have, is to go to iTunes, and you can find it there, and it's Politics and Preppers. And my name is, they call me Lead Slinger, but my real name is Steve Letzinger. And they know who I am anyway, so who gives a damn? I've been on the list for a long time, I'm sure. I don't really like a lot of what's going on, and that's what the show's about. We don't like Obama, and we don't like liberalism. And by the way, if you are a liberal, don't bother to come in and try to get into the show. I don't want to talk to you. Yeah, I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change my mind. And we're trying to talk intelligent, not the lies that y'all spew out all the time. So don't bother to come by. Anyway, tonight I had a little something that was kind of annoying me. And, of course, just about everything about Obama annoys me. But they come up with this social media new thing where they're going to give alerts out over your iPhones, smartphones in general, whatever, where certain government things will be put out to you. And some of them most of them you'll be able to opt out of. But the one, if the president decides he wants to tell people something, and I'm sure he'll abuse it, it won't be I bet the first or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 that he does, especially if he gets reelected, won't have anything to do with being an emergency, like they talk about it probably would be only in an emergency. It'll be some kind of bullshit. Something that's important to him, which anything he thinks about is important to him. He doesn't really give a damn about the truth or not. So you can't opt out of that one. You'll have to let it come through. And, of course, you can turn the volume down, turn it off or something, and ignore it. But still, just the idea of him telling everybody mandatorily, you'll have to accept this because I'm king, I'm God, I know better than you do. Y'all are idiots. Just listen to what I say. I don't have to live up to the Constitution. I'm a traitor. I'm a fascist. I'm a communist. Whatever. I'm the ruler of the world. BS attitude that he's got. This is a man that can't even talk intelligently without a damn teleprompter telling him what to say, and even then, he can't get it right half the time. So,
and by the way, that alert will cut in on whatever you're doing.
Yes, exactly. Now, if you're on, it's going to cut right into whatever you're doing. And now, if you could turn the volume down and not listen to him, or I guess turn it off, like I said. But if you're on it, it's going to come in, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. I suspect if you're on a 911 call, it'll butt into your 911 call because he's got important, In fact, as far as he's concerned, there is no God but him, except for maybe Allah. And that's one, he over the years, they keep saying, well, he's a Christian, you know. I don't believe it. I don't believe it one damn bit, especially with the church he went to. And, you know, he's done lots of things over the years that, to me, show he's not a Christian. He doesn't follow the faith. He doesn't give a shit about the faith. He just uses it to his advantage for political gains, personal gains. You know, just about everything he does, to me, points to he's a follower of the Islamic faith. Because,
well, he said he was.
Yeah, he has, but not. They never talk about it, even though he said he is. You know, all the talking heads on the ABC, CNN, all those idiots out there that are so, I don't know. I'm trying to not be too mean about it, but anyway, they don't talk about it.
You remember the time he said that he had been to 57 states?
Mm-hmm. This is a man that's supposed to be so brilliant.
Well, it's kind of ironic that there's 57 Islamic states.
Exactly.
That's where he slipped up, and he also slipped up when he was talking to Bill Clinton's press secretary. I can't remember his name. That's a weird name. But he said his Muslim faith, and the former press secretary straightened him out.
Stephanopoulos.
Oh yeah. Anyway, he blurted out that his Muslim faith, and he corrected him and said, "You mean your Christian faith?" And that's how the media was covering him. They were even covering for him so he wouldn't screw up and admit he was a Muslim.
Yeah, but if that was a Republican president or somebody running from the Republican side of things or conservative side of things that was running for president said something like that, they'd be all over it and use it against him. But not this one, because nothing he does is wrong. But anyway, the everything he does, I mean, he wants to be king. He wants to be God. He wants to be whatever you want to call it. He wants the absolute power. And basically, the Islam faith is basically, you don't have freedoms. You do have, you can't, can you imagine, this is one of the Islamic leaders I heard a while back, and I don't remember his name. It's making fun of the fact that, can you imagine them talking about let people vote here, and letting women vote, and letting women work and drive, and that's ridiculous. And he went on, but basically, the Muslim faith, from what I have seen, and I'm no expert in it, it is rulership by a few in power. It's not freedom, and a lot of what I've seen isn't even a peaceful thing. I mean, if you don't believe, if you don't join, you're dead. It's happened throughout history. Now I know some of them. There's probably different parts of that faith, but in general, that's what I see, and that's what I hear.
Well, keep in mind, Obama's following orders. None of this is his doing.
Yeah, but he's part of it, and he did it. And he's there because he believes in it.
Well, he's just a puppet, though. But he's following orders, and when Mitt Romney gets in there, which I'm pretty sure he will, because
he's not going to be any better.
No, he's going to do exactly the same thing.
It may be a little slower or a little bit.
Right.
We'll let him get away with more because people will be hoping for better from him, but it's going to be the same, except for maybe slower. But even I'll take it. I will take slower, because if we can slow them down, maybe we'll have time to turn things around, or at least have more time to prepare for what they're going to pull on us.
Well, there was a billboard that's making the rounds on the internet. I don't know if you've seen it. It says, if you voted for our current president in 2008 to prove you weren't a racist, please vote for someone else in 2012 to prove you're not an idiot.
I like that. I do too. Well,
that's on a billboard on the state.
I think this crap about these alerts I was talking about is just one more step of them taking over control of our media and our communications.
We're right. Well, but see that policy of doing that was done at the Bilderberg meeting last year. They planned that. So I mean, they're the ones at the Bilderbergs. They're making all these implementations, and then when you see them come out, we know where they came from. I mean, nobody, Bush. I mean, Obama didn't make that decision to do that, or the FCC didn't make that decision. All that was done last year. It leaked out last year that they were going to do that.
But it doesn't hurt his feelings to do it. I think he's enjoying it because he thinks he's better. He's one of those groups that thinks he's better than the rest of us, and that we're too stupid to take care of ourselves. And these egghead psycho think they need to be the ones that make the decisions and tell us what to do. That's just asking for catastrophe. It's happened all, throughout the years, throughout history, over and over again. The same old thing, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And millions more people will die because of it. In fact, we've talked about it before. That's what they want, It's all part of the Agenda 21.
That's one of the reasons why he wants to abolish the Second Amendment, because he knows that the United States, just through the citizens, could end up being the world's largest army ourselves. That scares him.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing you, but I think I heard most of it.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, they're getting ready to start this. I mean, the ATF is fixing. They're getting ready to issue a policy on shotguns.
Oh yeah, and it's not the only one.
Semi-automatic shotguns. So I mean, we got to prepare to start drawing the line in the sand. I mean, I'm not turning in a shotgun.
Me neither.
And I mean, that's when things are going to start really hitting the fan, when they start going around trying to collect guns or confiscate guns.
And see, and that's part of what I'm having trouble with. I think what they want, either way, they get what they want. If we don't fight back hard enough to stop them, then they get what they want. And if we do fight back hard enough to stop them, then they get the total anarchy and use that to try to take control. But I still think they're underestimating the people of this country and a lot of the police officers and a lot of the military. Now, I know they've got some, and maybe quite a few, that would do exactly what they were told to do. But I think there's a whole lot more, and more are finding out about this crap and talking back against it. But I think they underestimate, just like they have throughout history. They're what they want is not the answer. Total rule by a bunch of just a group of people with just about absolute power is not the answer. All it leads to is to death, misery, and destruction. But it doesn't give them what they want, and it never will. It'll just be a lot of people die, and in the long run, it'll tear them down because they'll lose, and they'll die because people won't put up with it. Yeah. But how bad does it have to get? I don't know. I'm just surprised that there's not more people awake, or either people are awake and they're not talking about it because they're tired of dealing with this crap over the last few years, and they've already made up their mind what they're going to do, and some of them don't know that it's not going to make much difference in this election.
Well, Oath Keepers are doing a pretty good job of alerting police and sheriffs, and I mean, the problem we got is a lot of sheriffs don't even realize their power anymore.
Oh yeah,
and that
they can keep the feds out.
How?
They can keep the feds out. They can tell them to get the fuck out. Excuse my language, people. Sorry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. They can throw them out, but a lot of them don't even realize they have that power. A few years ago, down in Tennessee, there was a fire at a barn, and the ATF had came in there. And the sheriff there arrested the ATF. He told them to get out of there, and they tried to overrule him, and he placed them under arrest. And some of these sheriffs know their power, and some of the majority of them, I think the majority of them don't realize what their power is.
Well, I like that story you told me a while back where the sheriff was telling and I don't remember the whole thing. I'm just going to remind you which one it was. Maybe then you can tell it. Where the sheriff told the Fed guy that he would help him out. He got a room for him. You remember that story?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell it?
Well, I think that's the same story down in
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the same one. Told him he had a room for him where they could work. It had bars on it.
3 meals.
Well, and that's been in through court too. That's been upheld by the courts that the sheriffs can do that.
That's always been.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same story with your juries don't know the power that they have. A jury is the absolute rule in a courtroom. I mean, they can actually nullify a law when they're in session. When a jury's meeting, especially a grand jury. When a grand jury's seated, they can nullify a law. And it's I don't know if y'all have seen the Oklahoma City, that Noble Lie. That was the problem that the foreman in the grand jury ran up against. He was aware of all his powers, and he tried to exercise some of those powers by calling witnesses, and the judge dismissed him from the hearings because he was trying to exercise his powers, and that exposed the corruption that was going on. That was the first thing that got his attention and started making him dig into it, and started discovering all the corruption that was going on. He was just trying to ask for evidence, and they were refusing to give it to him.
Yeah, and I wish more people knew that what they had in their rights when they go to a jury, because I don't think they'll ever pick me because they're not going to want me.
No, it's easy to get out. It's very easy to get out of a jury if you want to.
I just tell them the truth to their questions. They won't want me.
Right.
And if they ever asked me if I understood what my rights were as a jurist, you damn right I do. I know it all, and you won't like it. But then I don't trust the judge. I don't trust the attorneys on either side. I think they're all full of crap. But I wouldn't want to have to go to court without a lawyer for a lot of things. There's some good ones out there, I'm sure. Luckily, I haven't had to deal with them too much to figure it out. But Jim, I got something for you. Can you?
Oh, what's that?
If you can hear, I want to jump over there and get to what you were talking about. You were ordering a part.
Yeah, what it is a friend of mine works at one of the pronounced gun shops in San Antonio, and he made me aware of there's 2 different stocks that has been their prototypes, and they're now out, but the ATF is on my hotcakes, and then he says if you're going to get these stocks, they do come with a certificate from the ATF that's saying that they are legal to have, but he says he doesn't know how long they're going to be out there. Virtually what it does to like an AR-15 or a AK-47, it will make that weapon fully automatic without converting any of the firing mechanisms. That's why you get the certificate from ATF. So I would have ahead and ordered the one for an AR-15 that should be in next week. So I should have that thing on and already testified before next Saturday night to let y'all know exactly how it works. Might even take Steve with me out there so he can even play with it a little bit himself.
Yes.
Let him give you his reviews on it. But it's supposed to operate exactly like in an M16, the AR-15 does. You could do the 3-round version, or you do the fully automatic, or you can lock the stock down and then it's just strictly semi. But if you unlock it and pull it, and then it goes to full, which is very neat. Now, he's put quite a few of these on the AR-15s. He hasn't done that many of these stock replacements on the AK-47s yet. But similar to the old A2 stocks, it just has a few modifications that were done to them. But
I'm looking forward to shooting it.
They're a little pricey, though.
Well, you're a rich man. You got the money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking since the doctor told me I couldn't work till at least Wednesday, I may go out to the range Monday morning, and if you're not busy, Jim, you're invited.
All right.
I got to test out some of these loads, these practice rounds. I'm going to sight that pistol in, and maybe we'll get you to bring the Kel-Tec Sub 2000 out and shoot a few rounds. Maybe do a little video review.
Yeah. Now, they've got a lot of different attachments and options you can add to those now. I think you saw those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw them. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it makes them pretty neat.
How much are those stocks?
For the AR-15, they're about $325. For the AK-47, they're about $50 cheaper.
Oh, wow.
I'll know the exact dollar amount on it when I go have that thing installed next week.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice little add-ons to lots of guns out there, and I want to get into that down the road too. But I wanted, and most of that we're going to do during the weekday shows, and so we have time to go in more into detail on it. And of course, we haven't shot it yet, haven't used it yet, but we'll be talking about that. And between us, there's enough guns to do some pretty nice reviews on and discussions that I think some of the listeners are going to enjoy. Informational and just if you just like to shoot, some fun little toys to go along with them.
Well, they're also thinking about taking off that Tagament, that stuff I was telling you about, Steve, that you could use for target practice. That will actually, it's like two polymers that you can mix together that will actually detonate when you hit it.
Well, boom. Yeah, that's what they use on all these shows on TV. Yeah, that's a fun little toy to do.
Yeah, it is.
I want to try it one of these days. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah. Well,
I did. You do?
Oh, yeah, I got some of that. And
oh, that's right. I thought that was Al said that.
Yeah, it's very loud.
Well, maybe we're going to have to go take it out to the property and have some fun one of these days.
Oh, yeah.
But, they're going to, I'm wondering what Obama's going to try to do and the ATF are going to try to do with some of this gun laws before. I think Obama's going to lose this time, so I'm thinking he's going to try to get some shit done before he gets kicked out.
Well, first of all, they're not laws; they're just policies.
Well, yeah, policies
and
that they're pretending like are laws.
Right, they're pretending like they're laws, and I guarantee you just mark my word that it'll continue right on through if no matter who gets elected, the same policies will continue.
Oh yeah.
I just can't believe that we're letting them get away with some of this stuff that we're letting the politicians get away with. I mean, they sit there and tell us, look, we don't answer to the Congress anymore. We're part of the UN. We answer to them.
I'm telling you, man, the people are asleep.
I know it. And that's where I come into how bad does it have to get before people wake up? I don't know. And I hate to see it because I got a gut feeling that it's not going to change till it comes to shooting, until that's the only resort we have. And I don't want to see that.
I mean, I think Alex Jones was saying one day that he believes that televisions and, all the mass media is doing subliminal programming, just keeping everybody asleep, Yeah,
well, it hasn't worked on me.
Well, yeah, but you think, how many people do you try to tell stuff to and they don't want to?
They don't want to hear it, some of them. Some of them just think you're crazy.
Yeah.
And they kind of roll their eyes at you, but, even some of the ones that just don't want to hear it roll their eyes at you because they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to have to wake up. They don't want to be upset about this. They want to just skate through and pretend like nothing's going on so they don't have to be upset and go do their thing. Put the damn golf clubs down, turn the damn TV movies off. Look up some of this crap. Start waking up before you don't have any more choices.
Got to bite it really
there's
good.
stuff in the drinking water.
When a sporting goods, when a sporting event's going on, or a movies, TV, that kind of thing is more important than your freedom, man, we have problems. We've got big problems, and especially considering they don't want to know. Either they're scared of it, or they don't want to know, or they're too ignorant. Whatever. I don't even know how to explain it. It's. Why don't you want to know? Why wouldn't you want to know that they are taking your freedoms and you're not going to be able to, all these crap that you're so in love with isn't going to be there because they're not going to let you have it. You're going to be lucky to have enough money to buy your damn food.
Yeah, but people don't want to believe their government would do that. That's the root of the problem.
Yeah, I know, but it's been proven over and over and over again throughout history.
Yeah, long before there was subliminal messages on computers, people have fallen into that trap for hundreds of years.
You know, maybe I grew up with too many Westerns or something, but you got to fight against the tyranny and this kind of stuff. You can't just sit back and hope somebody else does it, because it's not going to happen.
It's just amazing because, like my example, my wife, I was telling her how bad fluoride is for you, and I was looking for some toothpaste that didn't have fluoride, and she just thought I was crazy because, now all of a sudden fluoride's not good for you. I said,
oh, it hasn't been. I mean, we've known about that for years.
I mean, doctors aren't even allowed to prescribe it because it's dangerous, but they can put it in the water. It's amazing. Now I was just reading, I guess it's been going on for a while, but there's talks at the AMA, American Medical Association. I don't know. They had a conference years ago, and they were talking about putting statin drugs for cholesterol in the water. They believe it's so helpful to people as a preventative measure that they want to get as many people want it as a preventative thing.
Yeah, so they can get people sick and let them die.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, they can't with my water.
And you know what's scary? You think you'll stay away from the the city water and by drinking bottled water, but we really don't know what's in the bottled water.
That's why you get a filter and filter your own water.
Right.
Yeah. You want to get one of those machines that takes water out of the air. That's what I'd like to get.
If you do, I've looked into those in the past, and they're kind of pricey.
I mean, just for drinking water.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of pricey, but make sure you keep them good and clean, because they'll grow algae and bacteria in there where it collects the water. But other than that, I think it's a good idea.
I'll take my chances with that.
But I think a good filter and just I can filter water from my well.
Have you heard of those live straws?
Yes, I have.
Maybe you use one of those to drink the water out of your bottled water.
Well, Jim, you got something to add there? You've done a lot of stuff with the different filters and stuff over the years.
Yeah, well, I just got to purchase one recently that it rolls up and you can stick it in your back pocket. Now, this thing here will filter up to about 1,250 gallons before you need to back flush it or change the little filter elements that are in it. And, gosh, they're very inexpensive. They're about $23, $24 for one of those filters. And
is that just like a carbon filter? Or?
Yeah, it's similar to a carbon filter. It's correct, and it has like a tube with a bag on it. It also has a straw where you can put a straw into it and drink it straight through the filter system as well.
Oh, okay.
Like stick it to a body of water and just drink straight from it.
Right. That's cool.
There's no
And what's that called and where do you get it?
I got this on Amazon.com is where I got this one. I'll let Steve talk to you for a minute, and I'll pull it out and get the name of it. All right?
All right. Well, I'm thinking
talk about something else, Steve, and I'll pull this filter out and get my name for it.
All right. Well, I was Jim and I were talking about that the other day, and I'm thinking I'm going to do a series of articles on the different water purification systems. Ones you can put in your house, ones you can put in your backpack or whatever for, emergency use, whether you be out backpacking or bugging out or whatever, I think there's some fairly good ones out there, and there's some that aren't very good. So I'm thinking that might be a series of articles that'll be coming up here pretty soon. I'm getting ready to make a few changes, I think, and not changing directions, just changing some internal workings. And that, I think, will be one of the projects I do after I change some of the internal workings for the website stuff. But I don't have anything on there right now, and I need to. I mean, there's just so many different things. We've been sticking with bug-out bags and emergency foods, and that's a lot of what we've been doing on the website. But, you know, it's almost never ending. There's so many different products out there, so many different things that can be used for the different scenarios that you might be in. So it's you know, just can't do it all at once. You got to just keep stroking along, doing one at a time. Now, while we're waiting for Jim, Mike, did you mentioned the topic, so why don't you...
Yeah. I have it's a different one than what we talked about. But
that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys heard about this, or maybe you probably have, that Obama signed do you guys know he signed an executive order back in March 16th, 2012, it's called the National Defense Resources Preparedness Executive Order?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where he can, basically, it just states, and this is amazing that now, our president can just sign executive orders, but that's another topic.
And our Congress lets him do it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But they don't affect you and I.
And, what this one says, that they can take, like, food manufacturing equipment, like farming equipment, food, in times of a national emergency, that they can just take these things from privately held companies, and then they have the right to expand production and all. I was just skimming through it, but I read some articles earlier. And, have you guys heard about that at all?
Yes.
Well, yes. Go ahead, Al.
And what's so amazing about this, to show you how far down the rabbit hole that we've went. You know what executive orders originally were?
No, go ahead.
I've heard a little bit about it, but I'm not.
Originally, executive orders were issued by the president for, like, something they needed in the White House, like they needed new China or whatever. He would issue an executive order to the Congress to have them acquire it for him and stuff like that.
Or to make a painting or something.
Yes. And
I need a new toothbrush.
Give me some fluoride. And then executive orders evolved into, rules, I guess you could call them that only applied to people that worked in, the administrative, worked within the government. In other words, he could issue an executive order that, the mandatory 2-week vacation or something, or in other words, it was just rules that applied to government employees, but nothing along the line that would be making law. And so now it's evolved into where now they try to, they're trying to issue executive orders that apply law to even the civilian population, when in fact they really don't.
So how can a president declare this now, and if something, say next week, something major happens and he wants to secure the food supply, how can he go ahead and do that? I mean, it seems like
because everybody's playing along with it.
Yeah, I guess so. No one's
because we're going to let them do it. That's how they can do it.
Well, that's because this is all these decisions are being made from the elite, and everybody's playing along with it. But the thing that we have to keep in mind is that all laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. And that's Mulberry versus Madison. And the United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So when they pass these policies and these laws, and they want to try to present them as, they pass a policy, but then they try to act as if it's a law. And if it's repugnant to the Constitution, it's null and void. And it's up to us. I don't know if y'all saw that. There was a video the other day that was on Drudge Report where a guy was open carrying in Portland, Oregon. Did y'all see that?
No.
And cops stopped him, and they were trying to give him the just trying to harass him the whole bit, and he stood his ground with him and quoted law or court cases that, how that they couldn't stop him. They were trying to get him to, give him his ID and, it's a very interesting video. And, of course, you can find a lot of those videos on the YouTube where people were legally carrying and the cops were trying to harass them.
I think I did see that one. And the cop finally gave up and drove off.
Well, it was his supervisor came along. I mean, the guy.
Yeah, that was it. That was the same one. Yes, I did see that.
Yeah. And demanding his ID, and saying he said that they had a person called in with a suspicious person carrying a gun. He said, "No, somebody reported illegal action."
Yeah.
So there's nothing suspicious about illegal action.
Yeah, you're coming over here because somebody report a legal action. Is it against the law to legally act?
Right. So, but it's like the problem with the ATL where they're trying to create a policy banning the shotguns, which it's totally unlawful act that they're trying to do there.
Yeah, it's no different than the EPA or something making laws.
Right.
Right.
Well, see, that's the problem with the EPA. The EPA, first of all, is an unconstitutional entity.
Right.
And now what's happened is the Congress set up the EPA, and the Congress handed off that authority to the EPA to make these policies, and which is, it's just bogus. The whole program is bogus.
Hey, Al, here's what I don't understand. I mean, if the government someday wants to have the intention to do this, say something happens 3 or 4 years from now and Obama's in office and he decides he wants to go this route and he's just going to start walking into people's and commandeer their equipment or whatever. Well, is he going to quote this document he made? I mean, they could just do that and then see what. I don't see what the document helps that much. I mean, it's not like.
Look what they've been doing in Michigan here. They've been killing people's pigs.
Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah,
that's pretty. They made the guy shoot all of his pigs.
And, you got them.
Using raw milk farms.
Yeah,
and then they smash all their food, not just raw milk.
Right. Or they're going after these farmers for saying they're creating dust, from plowing their field, and
Yeah, there's a major on food.
And using drones to go check up on them, which they shouldn't be doing.
Right. Well, the other thing is none of the corporate farms are under these. They're not going after any of the corporate.
Oh, hell no.
So the whole purpose of it is to shut down. I mean, this
if they shut down the little ones, then it doesn't give us any choice but to go to the big ones, which will be regulated by the government. That's the point. I mean,
the first thing they started doing was when they came out. Monsanto came out with their GMO corn. Okay, and what was happening was they would have a cornfield with the GMO corn, and you got the farmer next to it that didn't have GMO corn, and his corn would get pollinated, cross-pollinated with that GMO corn, and then they were suing these guys, and taking their land from them, where the farmers should have been going after them for trespassing, for their crop was basically tainting him. But they were going after him, saying he was stealing their GMO corn, and they were actually taking their land from them.
Yeah, and then if you look at it, some of the justices on the Supreme Court, some of these cases go the whole way to the Supreme Court, and I think they're counting on that because some of those justices are former Monsanto employees, or lawyers for the Monsanto. It's crazy how high levels that corruption goes.
Yeah. Well, it's just our government is beyond corruption. Is the bottom line.
And there's so many people that don't understand that, and that's where a lot of our problem lies. Is we have let them get away with this shit for so long. They've got so much power. They're just doing whatever the hell they want to, and that's one reason I think we got to go back to we got to the president's got term limits. We need Congress to have term limits. That'll help. That's not the whole answer. There's lots of different things we have
what
to
if
do.
the president writes an executive order saying he can stay in office longer?
Nothing like that will ever happen, though.
Yeah, probably won't.
No, I mean, I mean, would you ever vote yourself out of a job?
Like I
Oh
said,
no, they
name
wouldn't even let it. Go ahead, Jim. Go
Okay,
ahead.
that name of it is the McNeil Tactical Aqua Frontier Pro Ultralight Water Filter. Long sucker. Price on it is $18.74.
All right, repeat it slowly.
Okay, it's McNeil Tactical Aqua Frontier Pro utility water filter, or ultralight.
Right.
It's Pro Ultralight. I had to put my glasses back on. It's Pro Ultralight water filter, and they're selling them for $18.74 on Amazon.com. It comes on like in a camouflage package with green and lime green deal, and has all your stuff inside the bag. It comes in a plastic bag that you hold your water.
Well, I don't know if you were there when I was talking about it, but I think that's going to be one of the next series of articles I'm going to do is on a lot of these filters.
Yeah. Well, I got two different types, but they're a little bit larger.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
I gotta say this. These guys at the government, is it the DEA?
DEA,
yeah.
Drug enforcement.
This article says the DNA, the Department of Natural Resources, DNA. I don't know, but anyhow, I didn't even know there was a working for them.
That's the DNR.
Yeah, maybe they have a typo then. But anyhow, they did these armed raids, with two different farms in Michigan, and the weird thing is there's a bizarre new, it's called an invasive species order. That suddenly declared that certain livestock to be invasive species, and that's what gives them the right. They were just going to start shooting all the pigs. I guess they did eventually, but that's pretty crazy. But the ironic thing is, they allow and promote, like Monsanto, to come up with all these new invasive species as far as plants go, and then now they're shooting farmers for pigs being invasive species.
Well, I don't think they're shooting the farmers yet, but they probably will.
Well, no.
and whether or not that
they're facing felony charges.
Yeah.
Whether or not that pig's an invasive species is totally an arbitrary calling.
Oh yeah.
By the DNR.
Yeah, but they think you can do whatever to.
Well, they could add cattle into that because we brought the cattle here many years ago, so they could probably do that with cattle too, and they probably will.
Oh yeah.
Because that's part of what they want to do. They want to take the land away so government can control it, which is right in line with the Agenda 21.
Exactly.
They're gonna start shooting pet stores too. I mean.
Yeah, well, that I'm sure they'll do when it comes down to it, but that doesn't really give them the control. They want big power. They're not worried about the little powers yet. Once you get to big power, the little ones just fall into place. Once you get to the point where you're basically totally powerful, then you can just if they don't want to agree, well, either shut your store down or we'll kill you, and nobody will say anything.
You've been better off if Al Capone was still around.
Well,
it's organized crime.
At least we knew he was a criminal, right?
Yeah. That's right.
But these guys are too, even worse.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, there was something else I wanted to talk about, and I got to talking about everything else. I forgot what the heck it was.
See his text to succeed for the rest of the union and pull out. That would be cool.
Yeah, I would like that, but it's not going to happen.
No.
We got too many people from other states moving in now that wouldn't support it. I mean, how many times I said I've gone to a meeting or something that somebody from California or one of the northern states has come in. Well, not even necessarily one of the northern states, but from another state and come in. Well, back home we did it like this. Well, yeah, that's why you're here, because your stupid ideas ruined that state, so you moved here. Now keep your stupid ideas to yourself.
Well, you saw what happened when the Texas was going to try to throw the TSA out last year.
No, we'll
Oh
have
yeah, they were going to shut down plane travel, right?
They put the National Guard on alert in the surrounding states and was going to shut down our airspace. The
Yeah.
government-
shut down Texas airspace.
I wish we would have called their bluff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been a good place to start. I mean, if something like that would go along and then whatever state it was would call their bluff, that would be a good place to start.
Right.
Can you imagine the federal government shooting down a plane? That would just, yeah.
Oh, that
would piss every state off just about, except for maybe a few.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time they've done it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It wouldn't piss California off.
Yeah, I was going to say California probably wouldn't care. Especially if it was a plane load of Texans they shot down.
Are there no talks still of seceding?
No.
No.
I mean, there's talk from, groups.
Just
but
people,
nothing,
yeah, right.
Nothing organized. I would be behind it.
Oh, there's numerous states Vermont and I think it's South Carolina have been some heavy, and Alaska's probably one of the biggest ones. That's, there's a big movement in Alaska to succeed.
Well, they would probably be the most likely to be able to get it done because there's not that big a population. There's very independent people up there.
Yeah, there's too many natural resources.
Yeah.
They never let them do it. And strategical,
Right.
with the bordering Russia and everything. Hey, one other thing I was going to mention was these raids on the raw milk farmers. And Senator Rand Paul had put forth legislation a while back. I don't know if you guys have talked about it, but that he was trying to ban these raids or stop these raids on raw milk farmers. And he also had some things in there to prevent the the condemnation of people who talk about natural forms of supplementation, natural forms of treatment of different ailments and things. So it was just basically protecting people's right to free speech about and not being accused of making medical statements and things, but mostly with the raw food. But anyhow, not one single Democrat voted for that bill.
Did you expect them to?
Well, I mean, I'm not a Democrat, but you would think to talk about being for the people, and rights.
They're not. They're not for the people. They're for themselves.
But the sad thing is only 15 Republicans voted for it. Only 15 out of, how many?
Well, there's a whole bunch of them that got to go, too.
Yeah.
They're bought and paid for.
It's ridiculous.
But that topic reminded me of part of what I wanted to talk about. But was that Rand Paul or Ron?
That was Rand.
Okay. Because you know how there's a lot of people really upset with Rand and Ron right now. Because of the support for, Romney. And I don't know what he's doing, but I feel like he stabbed me in the back.
Yeah, you hear on that, yeah.
I tell you what it is. I think it's a threat.
You think someone threatened him?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that kind of thing happens.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Ross Perot.
Mm-hmm.
But think about it, though. If you're someone like that, thinking totally differently, you'd have to do something to be able to get into office. I mean, once you got into office, I guess in theory you could do something. But I don't know. Maybe that's just being naive. But you know what I'm saying? Like if we had some guy on our side that was being kind of covert.
Hey, we got I just noticed on the. I'm sorry that I interrupted you, but we got a new guest in. It says it's on the computer a long ways away from my eyes right now, so I'm trying to read it. Your brother's getting ready for the World War, i.e., Kenya, etc. Don't know what it means, but we got another visitor in here.
Good.
Great. More the merrier.
But anyway, I feel like I've been stabbed in the back. Well, did you have something you wanted to finish with that? I know I cut you off there a little bit.
No.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully we'll slowly start getting the word out and get some more people to join in. But anyway, I feel like I've been stabbed in the back. And okay, now I remember where I was going with this. All right, now Al mentioned that it might have been a death threat. And I understand that. And this is easy for me to say because I'm not there. I haven't had a death threat, at least not recently. I've had people say, "I want to kill you," but it's a different kind of thing. But
I don't think it's a death threat on him.
No, it's family.
His family, yeah.
Yeah. And I knew that. I knew that that's what one of the things that are going on, but that might be possible. But our forefathers, a bunch of them gave up their lives, and the possibility of giving up everything, everything they owned, and stood up to this kind of crap. And we need some politicians that will. If you're not willing to stand up against that kind of crap, then you don't need to be in politics. Get the hell out. We need people that are willing to, how many millions of people have died over the last 200 years of this country to defend freedom, and you're not willing to stand up against it, but yet you will sign orders and war orders and give money to the military to go let them die for us, but you're not willing to. If you're not willing to, then you shouldn't be a politician, and you shouldn't have anything to do with sending any military anywhere to die for anything. But yet that's not going to make a difference. If I was standing right in front of them, it just wouldn't make a difference. They just going to keep doing what they're doing here. I don't know who he looks like. He's logged in here. Let me see if I can. I'm going to give him a shot to come in and see. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Adamite. I'm going to.
Yeah, sounds right.
Okay. Hello. Did you have something you wanted to?
Yeah, I was saying that. What if the military is not doing what is constitutionally written?
Well, they're not in some cases. Maybe a lot of cases they're not, but a lot of the upper military is part of the problem in the first place. They're not standing up against and doing what they said. They're not upholding the Constitution, and they're not living up to their oaths.
But you were just saying that we need to support them.
Yeah.
At the lower levels.
Yeah, at the lower levels. Yeah. Well,
when you say lower levels, what are you saying?
Well, I don't know exactly where this fits into explain a little bit what you mean, because I've talked about two different topics recently about the military.
They're not constitutionally supporting us as American people. They are now under the influence of a foreign government.
Oh yeah, and that's what we need more of them to stand up. We need the military personnel, whether they be up high or down low. If they're told to do something that's unconstitutional, they need to stand up. They need to start standing up and say no and turn in whoever's giving those orders. But
how is that going to happen?
That's not going to happen, no. But they need to. But
I think it could happen someday.
It might, but how bad does it have to get? And that's part of the ongoing question, not only with that particular topic, but with us ourselves as a people of this country. If we don't stand up and do what's right, and we wait for it to get so bad the longer we wait to get the control back and to stand up and do what's right, the harder it's going to be. And do we have to wait again to where it comes down to shooting to make changes? It's going to be our fault. But a lot of people, that's what's going on. And the military needs to do the same thing. But I can understand they're doing, I can't go until, turn my sergeant in for ordering me to go do something illegal. I'm going to end my career. Well, God dang it. Maybe it is the end of your career, but is it more important to maybe not go kill that person that you were just told to kill that's unconstitutional to kill, but yet you're going to do it anyway? Or maybe it's not that bad of an order, but still, if you're ordered to do something illegal, then don't do it. Stand up against it. Not only don't refuse to do it, but stand up and report who told you to do it.
Like killing American civilians around the world.
Right.
Having police America is against the Constitution.
Well, you brother know as well as I do.
Go ahead. What was it?
You know as well as I do, the soldiers that do rebel against that will go under court-martial.
And some of them will be killed. because some of them that are being outspoken have been
They disappeared.
this either disappear or they go, excuse me, or their family ends up dead and they end up dead, and then they come back and say, well, he went crazy and he killed his family than himself.
Remember a few years ago that soldier that wouldn't go to Afghanistan because he said he wouldn't operate under orders of the UN, and
yes,
there was a big court martial and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, do you know the outcome of that?
No, I don't remember the outcome.
They never told you the outcome of that. He actually ended up winning.
Cool.
Hooray.
Yeah, he actually ended up winning. Now they just announced for months and months about how he was, he's going to get court-martialed and sent to jail, et cetera, et cetera. But he actually ended up winning his case.
Well, the one recently where, and I'm sorry I can't remember his name, folks, but the one that just went on a rampage a couple months ago and killed a bunch of civilians, our military.
He's a Muslim.
No. This was over in Afghanistan. No, over in Afghanistan.
Oh, okay.
It was one of our soldiers that went crazy, snuck off the post, went out and killed a whole bunch of civilians.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know this. Al, you might be. But any of you might be. But come to find out, now I'm not saying what he did was right, so don't misunderstand me. But come to find out, all right, the guy had his foot basically shot off, if not all, most of it. And he had been on 3 or 4 or 5 deployed over there that many times already. And he'd already said he didn't want to go back. And I think he had the right to say he didn't want to go back. But they put him on drugs, mind-altering, the different kinds of drugs they use for attitude and mental illness and different things, And they made him go back. Well, you got somebody that's been there that many times, that has had that grievance of a wound, seen many of his friends die. Then you stick him on these mind-altering drugs, stick him back over in battle. His buddy gets killed like within just that day or a few days, and he goes crazy. Now, it's not right that he did that, but you put him in that state. You made him go back when he shouldn't have been there, and they knew he shouldn't have been there, or they wouldn't have had him on those drugs. You don't send a man into battle and just got psychological problems, and you give him drugs to help straighten that out. You don't do that. You're asking for trouble.
Well, listen to this, brother. We didn't put him in that position. The government put him in that position. They gave him another tour over there. He's been over there 3 or 4 times. He had post-traumatic stress going on there.
Yes, exactly. That was my point.
Yeah, and we didn't put him in that position. We didn't put him in that position, but the government did, and we have no control over this government anymore. And that's where we're trying to work out here. We're trying to work out how can we get control of this government that's pushing our brethren into these warfares that are causing a situation like that.
Exactly, and it just irks me to see this kind of stuff going on, because it's not only him that's being put back in that situation so many times. I mean, there's a large percentage of people that have been there 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
And we're not even talking about the ones that commit suicide that come back to the States.
Well, suicide
right.
Doubled.
If you put somebody
last year.
Yeah, and if you put that many people into that situation over and over and over again, you're asking for them to have mental problems. It's a stressful situation, and I don't know how so many of them come back from all that and still do well. I know several that have been there 2 or 3 times, and they're doing well as far as I can tell. But I'm not close family relations or close into the family where I see them all the time. I just see them off and on. And I got a real close, I'll say friend, but he's a friend, but he's the son of a guy that I went to school with, and we got along pretty well. And he's in the military now. And I'm not going to talk about any names, but we talk every once in a while, and he tells me some things, but he doesn't go too far, but he kind of confirms some of my things I talk about. But I can't talk about his name, and I'm not going to. He's in a position where he could be disappeared very easily.
There's always exceptions. There's always exceptions to the military as to soldiers. But at the same time, the leadership that we now have in this country here is a very liberal leadership. And Obama, for example, is a curse to this nation. I know a lot of people may not believe that, but he is. I don't even believe he's American citizen.
I think we all believe that.
No, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. We don't think he's a citizen. I don't believe he's a citizen. I don't think anybody on the show believes he's a citizen. He's a traitor to the Constitution.
We're looking at a nation right now that's being taken over, and it's by Marxism, if I can say it that way. And I don't know, brethren, what we should do, but we can't take up arms because they have a mighty army than we do, and they will demolish us. But at the same time, maybe we should be voting, and voting doesn't seem to be working at this time as well.
No, and it's not, and I don't have the answer, but I'm still holding on to we need to start pushing the votes harder. We need to start speaking up more. We need to inform people more. I don't want to go to shooting, but I have to disagree with you on this point. If it comes to shooting, we will win. There's too many of us.
What?
And there's too many in the military. Too many in the military that won't go along with it and that will back us up. And there's too many of us that have guns and ammo. They cannot.
Agree with that.
They got some bigger weapons, but there's just too many of us and too many of.
Hey, I mean, all you got to do is look at Russia and Afghanistan. They got ran out of there. Yeah. And that's not even anywhere near the firepower that's in the civilian population here.
Yeah, and then that's a good example. I mean, I don't think you could go to a house on my street that doesn't have at least one gun. And
Amen.
I don't think I even know anybody that doesn't have a gun. I know a couple that don't really think that much, but they do have. Yeah, that's why we nuked Japan, because we didn't want to go in and try to fight them hand to hand every house.
Japan would not invade this country because they found out, they pulled the records on registered hunters, and they found out how many registered hunters there were in each state, and that's basically every household in some of the northern states. So they said, this is be the world's largest army.
Yeah, and that was just registered hunters, not the casual gun owner that likes to go out and shoot.
Right. So that's the reason that Japan backed out of invading the U.S. is because of that statute they found out.
Right. But think about this. Right now at this time, in Syria, Russia, China, Iran, and all of them are stockpiling weapons over there in Syria. We're talking about invading. Israel is pushing us to go into that country.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
And at the same time, we got a Marxist government, Obama, trying to take away any rights and gun laws that we might have. We got a bad situation going on here.
Yes, we do.
Well, that's why we're here right now talking about it. But, maybe we're not going to get through to a bunch of people, but you get a group of people, and maybe they talk to a couple of people, and maybe they talk to a couple of people, and a bunch of other people start doing the same kind of thing, and maybe it makes a difference. But I tell you what, it won't hurt to talk about it. And maybe enough people talk about it will make some changes. I just don't see from what I'm seeing right now, I don't see anything happening until it gets so bad that people are willing to go out and force it to happen. And you can take that by whatever means you think.
Hey, all I know is all this nation toppling going over in the Middle East.
It's all organized.
All that has been was planned back right after 9/11. Wesley Clark, you can look up the speech he gave back in around 2006, and he talked about it. He named the nations that were going to be toppled, and also it's kind of ironic that when Libya toppled, what happened to Gaddafi? He suddenly had a serious illness he came down with right after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look what's happened to Syria. The guy had a stroke, I mean, it's kind of funny that these guys, once they get toppled, they all have these serious illnesses they come down with.
Like Breitbart?
Yeah.
All right, and then Breitbart, the coroner that took care of him, all of a sudden dies of
he died of
arsenic poisoning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who dies of arsenic poisoning?
Yeah, who dies of arsenic poisoning?
Right.
And it's like they don't even care that we know that they're doing it. I mean, they could have found a better way to do it. They just didn't care.
Well, you remember when Clinton was in there And
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
what was the Commerce? It was over in Eastern Europe, and he was. I can't remember exactly where he was now. His last name was Brown. Ron Brown.
Right.
And he was subpoenaed to appear before Congress on Clinton on something, and his plane crashed. Remember that?
Right.
Oh yeah.
It killed him, of course. It's leaked out since then that he was actually shot in the head.
I didn't hear that. Yeah.
They didn't want him to testify.
Read that at? Where'd you read that at?
I'm trying to remember where I read that at, but it actually came out that his plane actually didn't crash. He was actually just shot in the head and killed, and they said he was on.
But you could probably find it pretty quickly just by doing a search. John Brown shot in the head.
Ron Brown. Right?
I mean Ron Brown shot in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this is directed to Adam Mike. Are you just recently getting into this, or you been involved with this kind of?
Well, I've been personally involved in it with myself, if I can say it that way. But I just ran across your site tonight.
Well, you're welcome to come back anytime, and I'm looking to build this and build a bigger group of people. I've got 3 of us here know how to handle websites and technical stuff along those lines. We may build. I've already got a website that we're going to put some of this stuff on. We may build a separate one for this. If you want to pitch in and help out and join in the show, you have ideas, whatever, get in touch with me. Let me know, and I'll work with you.
Hey, put your link.
I'd like to get a group of people together. Maybe we can do something.
Put your link on the chat, will you?
Here, I'll put the link to my website, and then you can contact me through there.
Yeah.
And I'll give you. Yeah, and then I'll give you my email address too.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you Google Ron Brown shot in the head, you'll find all kinds of info on it.
Oh, okay, I wasn't aware of that.
The autopsy X-rays got leaked out with an unexplained bullet in his head.
It wouldn't surprise.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the Americans know more about Jerry Sandusky than they do about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'll tell you, brother, this. I think we're close to a World War III here coming up pretty soon.
I wouldn't doubt that one bit.
No, absolutely. Hey,
yeah.
That's what we're getting ready for.
It's all planned. They've been planning this for. Yeah, it's been planned for years.
Look up Agenda 21.
Agenda 21. Yeah, I got your link here. It just came up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you my email too.
I'm going to save that.
So what are they saying? They're saying that this might come to a head on that when they're going to start this World War III.
Oh, yeah, I expect it next 2 months.
Next year can start months.
I think before the end of the year, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think there's a good possibility some shit's going to happen before the end of the year because I don't understand where, all of it and the hows and whys. I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, why it's going on, who's behind it all, but I'm not sure if they're ready to push that hard yet, but I wouldn't doubt it. And it just looks, by the last few weeks of some of the things that have been going on, that they're really ready to push and make something happen before the election. I hope not.
Russia's
hope we got more time than that. Now, did we lose you?
No, I said Russia's kind of put a thorn in their side. Russia?
Yeah.
Kind of put a thorn in their side there, and they're kind of hesitating right now.
Well,
but under the twist points.
I was thinking something's going to happen. I just couldn't put my finger on the exact date, when and where, but you've always got that gut feeling that something's going to hit the fan and hit it hard.
Yeah. Hey, I sent you an email. It's just a test. Just give you my email address.
Well, I tell you, talking about World War III, if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, one of the prophecies yet left to be fulfilled, I should say, is Damascus is one of the oldest cities in the world.
Yeah.
And it's prophesied in the Bible that it will be destroyed in one night. It's awful interesting that we've got things happening in Syria. And
yeah, I wouldn't be
Damascus,
surprised.
Yeah, when that happens and Damascus gets destroyed in a night, that is definitely going to set the point of the biblical timeline, so to speak.
I wouldn't be surprised. Twofold nuclear war starting over in Syria and eventually coming over across Canada, over the Arctic, over to us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it will be. I mean, all the elites have their underground, their underground bunkers. They're well stocked, and their goal is to eliminate 95% of the population.
And that's all this stuff is under the Agenda 21, the umbrella of Agenda 21. Everything that's going on, all the different topics that we talk about that are in that umbrella. I mean, there's different organizations, but it's all the same umbrella covering it all. It's a massive movement to basically take over the world, get rid of a bunch of people, and total control by just the few. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to tell you, brother, right now. I'm up
that
in
website
Maine.
link. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm up in Maine.
Yeah.
Pretty isolated.
You're breaking up a little bit. We got you.
99% white. You still there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
99% white.
Yeah.
When all hell breaks loose, you don't want to be around the dark. I'm telling you that.
No.
Well, they're already setting the stage. They're setting the stage for racial conflicts right now. I mean,
That's what they want to do. They want to pit us against each other.
There's billboards going up in Michigan where talking about. I can't remember what it was saying about being white. Oh crud! I'm trying to remember what they were saying.
If you're white and got a John Deere hat on, you're the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're white, you're a discriminator.
Not for us, but for them.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was stuff along that line, and it's like the Zimmerman guy down there. They were trying to use that to create some hard feelings between the races.
Well, it's the old thing, divide and conquer. They want to divide us, set us against each other. Once we destroy each other to a certain point, it'll be easier for them to come in. And that's part of the message we got to get out is we need to not be arguing against each other. And some of the lazy people that think the government's the answer and you're going to live off of them, it's not the answer. All you're doing is you're setting yourself up for a terrible life, if you even have a life for very long, because once they've used you to get what they want, they'll just throw you away too. They won't be giving you anything. They're not going to support you and give you everything for free. They're either going to do one of two things. They'll kill you because that's what they want to do anyway, get rid of most of the people in the world. And if they don't kill you, they'll just use you. You're going to be the one out there working the fields, hoeing the oats and whatever, and supplying them with food, and you'll have no freedom. You'll do what you're told, or you will die. And that's what you're setting yourself up for.
In this nation is if you're white, you're a racist.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's it. If they can say anything they want to about white people, they're not racist. But a white person can't say anything about anybody without being a racist. Or if you don't vote for the right person, you're a racist. Or if you don't like a certain policy because you're white, you're a racist. And
that's why I'm telling you,
sick and tired of it.
I live up in Maine, and I live up in Maine here. It's 99% white. When you find yourself in a situation, you can call me and come up here. There's plenty of room up here for you.
Okay.
Caravan.
That's a long ways to go, and I think when shit hits the fan, we won't be able to get that far, but we'll keep it in mind.
I might have to go up there because I don't have any guns.
Well, I got
you don't
some
need,
for you.
There's plenty of guns here, I can tell you that.
Yeah. I might be heading up towards your way if we get in trouble.
Well, if we all end up there, there will be plenty of weapons and ammo for you, I can guarantee it.
Yeah. Plenty of militia up this way.
Hey, my philosophy on that is I don't need to stockpile a bunch of ammo because when
you'll be pick up on each street corner.
When it hits the fan, they'll be bringing the ammo to me. All I need is enough to.
Yep.
You just need the right
That's
guns
kind of way I
with the
look
right
at it
caliber.
too.
The right guns with the right caliber. That's part of the trick. Is get a caliber that the military uses.
All you gotta do is
head bodies.
Yeah.
Hey Jim, I think you're. Hey everybody, hang on for a minute. Jim, I think you were trying to get in, but you were breaking up a little bit.
I said all you gotta do is just make sure you get the ones that has your type of ammo.
That's right.
Well, I think I would rather go to Big Bend down around Tulingua instead of going up north just because of the way the radiation charge or the wind charge go.
Well, that
you're probably right.
They probably wouldn't.
Far down south.
They probably wouldn't let us get that far. We'd have to fight our way through there.
There's I keep hearing there's areas in Big Bend that hasn't even been explored yet.
That's true.
Oh hell, there's some areas not far from where Jim and I used to go to West Texas a lot, and the area we went is not too far from Big Bend. Now, most of that area, the only people that have been there are the ranchers that live in the area. In a few spots, some of the hunters pay to go in there, but this is a vast area. I mean, it is huge, all right? And there's lots of places that even some of the ranchers I doubt have ever been to.
Is it like mountainous areas or?
Well, it's kind of semi-arid. Some of it you might call a desert, but it's a desert that's got lots of plants as far as deserts go, and lots of valleys and
lots of tumbleweed. Huh?
Well,
Big Bend's got mountains.
Yeah.
That's the way I picture it.
Yeah, but then as you go a little bit west of where we used to go, you get into the Big Bend area and such, where there's more mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
What state is that?
Yeah, Big Bend's got mountains.
There's lots of
I never heard of Big Bend.
Yeah.
Well, Big Bend is in Texas. Yeah, Big Bend is in Texas, and that mountain range is like part of where the Rockies start coming down.
Goes down the Davis Mountains. Goes down.
Yeah, Davis Mountains, yeah. And they goes through there. They're not the big, mountains like the Rocky Mountains, but they're pretty good size.
Yeah, there's probably tribes of Sasquatch living in there.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what
Native Americans living up in there.
We need some Sasquatch.
Nah, but you might have to run some bats out of some of the caves out there. I've done that before.
Hey, are you Leadslinger?
I'm Leadslinger, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, brother.
All right, I'm the one I'm the one running the show, but these guys are all good friends, and we're trying to just pitch in together and get the word out.
Yeah, I live like 5 miles from Camp David.
Yeah, we're kind of, most of us live here in Texas, pretty close. Al lives North Texas. Me and Jim live further down South Texas, and Mike lives over
Maryland.
I'm originally from Maine, Alabama, I should say, and I moved up to Maine, and I was going to move back to Alabama, but it was too dark for me down there, so I stayed up here.
I don't blame you. You go around the corner, there's a trash can full of spears on each corner, you're saying?
Now, guys, let's don't go that way.
Yeah.
This is going up on the internet, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, the show, I think, is been going long enough. We're well over an hour. So I'm going to end the show. If y'all want to hang around and visit a little bit, we can do that. All right, so I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Oh, by the way, I did get your test email, Greg.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
I'll shoot you a little message here, and we'll talk and see what's going on. All right, so
man.
That's the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. We'll get that other show that we did up during the week. We'll get it posted up there, so it will be available soon. And I want to thank everybody for stopping by. This is the Podcast and Preppers show podcast here at TalkShoe.com. You can also go to iTunes and get it, and there's probably some other places you can get it too. So, also, if y'all get time, stop by the TalkShoe.com and go by and make comments on Politics and Preppers, and maybe subscribe to it so it will help the rankings of it and get it up there where people will see it more. So that's it for tonight. We'll be back next Saturday night, 10 o'clock Central Time, and we basically talk about politics, and the prep work side is mostly going to be during the weekdays. And remember, if you're a liberal, don't stop by. We don't want to talk to you. We got nothing I want to hear. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you next time.